When most people hear planning board, they think of permits and zoning, but there's a lot more that goes into making sure a city or county runs smooth and efficient for people who live there. For example, in Prince George's County, there are several priorities, including making sure new spaces function for people with special needs and even ensuring a variety of transportation options to reach the place.
Joining us in studio to talk about some of what goes on into the planning for Prince George's is the county's Planning Department Director, Ms. Lakisha Hall. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
So we want to jump right in. Tell us about the Neighborhood Planning Academy and Brown Bag Series.
Well, the Neighborhood Planning Academy is an award-winning program that really engages the public in the planning process. It's like a planning 101. And so it's open for Prince George's County residents to participate. It's a 7-week course. As a matter of fact, we have 61 cohorts involved in it this year, and we're happy to know that they're able to learn more about transportation, land use, other things that really matters to Prince Georgians.
And one thing we hear a lot about is the missing middle housing in neighboring jurisdictions. Can you kind of walk us through what it is and how does it affect people in the county?
So missing middle is a term that's really popular in a lot of planning circles. And so you have single family homes and then you have multifamily. So a lot of times folks are like, what about the middle housing, the housing that's between 4 to 12 units, the housing that also meets the needs of smaller units such as accessory dwelling units. And so what we're trying to do here in Prince George's County is see where do we have the right locations across the county to have that missing middle component. We want to also make sure before we proceed with any policy that we get input before proceeding.
And you have some comprehensive planning strategies underway. So briefly tell us a little bit about those.
So comprehensive planning is something that the state of Maryland requires every jurisdiction to have. So what that means is that you vision for a period of time ahead. So because we're such a big county, close to 500 square miles, we're visioning from our urban areas to our rural areas. And so we're hoping to start very soon listening sessions on Plan 2050. Other jurisdictions have a 2050 plan. So what that means is that we project out what does the county need since, we haven't done this effort in about 14 years. We have rideshare. 14 years ago, we didn't have rideshare. So now we're going to vision say, how do we have even more multimodal options for our residents to be able to use?
And it's no secret that Prince George's County over the last couple of years has had a lot of new developments. How do you ensure that these new developments kind of align with the community's needs?
So the great thing about being the planning director for Prince George's County, I get an opportunity to work with the 26 of the 27 cities here. So in addition to following county councils, zoning codes, and policies, we're able to use those type of platforms in community meetings on certain projects. And then we're also able to have public hearings through the planning board process, which are held on Thursdays. And those are open to the public. And so they'll see certain projects require conditions to be able to mitigate their impacts. And so that's where we want to make sure the public is very aware that there's different platforms for them to engage in, and also the municipalities as well.
And I know there's been an effort underway to reform the development review process. So tell us about the partnership between the planning board to do that.
Wonderful question. So in August, our new county executive, Aisha Braveboy, launched some really important initiatives about being more transformative and amplifying development review. And so I was able to work with the Department Permitting of Inspections and Enforcement Director and us beginning to work on shovel-ready projects and streamline the development review. So what that means is if you have a project that meets our code, we want to make sure that you can move forward in a very time-sensitive platform similar to other jurisdictions.
And one of the things that we hear a lot is people who live in the county sometimes feel like they are left out of the planning process. What do you guys do to ensure that people in the county essentially have a voice?
So the great thing is that, and this is something that you have as a big planning department, we do over 150 community engagement events. Many of our events are posted on our social media platform pages, so folks can also sign up through our constant contact to be notified about public hearings. There's also those wonderful signs that people see on properties that say, hey, this project is about to get a public hearing. So those are the different platforms. All of these are open to the public. We also have opportunities for people to write in emails. They can phone call, they can drop in to share some of their concerns on the projects.
And after serving as a director for nearly 2 years, what's your plan or your overall vision for the future?
So that's a great question. So I've been doing this line of work for about 23 years. I have a great platform with other planning directors across the country. And so there's other things that we're going to be looking forward in 2026. And so I'll kind of leave that little nugget for you guys to stay tuned. But we're trying to see, how do we start to elevate placemaking? Placemaking is a way for us to be very transformative. And so how do we use pop-ups? How do we be able to activate our agricultural innovation, right? There's areas that we can do aquaponics. There's areas that we can really start to see where are the areas that we can see the redevelopment happen in a quicker standpoint, our shopping centers, so on and so forth. We know that there's some big opportunities with the Six Flags site closing, some of the federal properties as well. How do we start to reactivate that in an intentional way are some of those ideas we're looking at.
And this will be our last question. What does the future look like in Prince George's County?
Well, I'm always an optimist, and one thing I've learned doing planning for so long is that it's best to plan during the time that you have the availability to do it. And so right now we're working very hard. We have 5 plans right now in the department that we're working on, so please make sure the public comes in and get engaged in those processes. And so we're doing a lot of planning so that we can move forward in a couple years to really be innovative in the way that we need to be.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Lakisha Hull. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, for more information on the county's planning department, visit the website at pgplanning.org.